My players are known for complaining about how imbalanced my game is. Was it finally balanced this time? This possibly balanced battle last Friday actually began a few months ago when Gendron rebelled from Chahar. They thought they had the upper hand. Then came Drœnland and Dess from the north. The allies marched from the north and took a small town in Northwest, the northernmost part of Gendron. That was their first step into the southern lands and beyond. The Drønland and Dess have set up their stronghold in Northwest, their foothold into Gendron. The city that they raided quite a number of weeks ago is now their stronghold. That is their foothold in Gendron. They have a small stockpile of food and provisions for them to be able to help fund their war effort as they try to invade the rest of Gendron. The stockpiles of food are much appreciated, and the warmer winter is a pleasant surprise for the Drønlandi, but not as much the Dess. From Drønland, I think I have a map right here, or is it right here? There's a map somewhere. Forget where here. Right there. The map is right there. Anyways, from Drønland, more troops are making their way into Gendron via the Black Road through the Three Huru Valley. The Three Huru Valley is the major kind of thoroughfare between Imatarita, Gendron, and Dess, Drønland, of course. And they are marching towards Gendroni city of Lûrbag. Lûrbag is an 8 days journey from Doraj. It's a decently sized city. It isn't massive like the size of Doraj, but it isn't tiny either, like the smaller city that they had invaded previously. But it is also a fairly major hub along the Black Road for travelers going to the northern cities of Gendron. The Black Road is that road that runs down along the Black River into the Black Lake. Everything is black in Gendron. Don't ask me why. They're Gendroni. I didn't make that up. But yeah, it's called the Black Road, and it is a major thoroughfare. A major hub for the thoroughfare. The Gendroni orcs are issuing forth from the city gates, marching to meet the invaders. But despite them being afraid for their lives, bloodlust is heavy on their minds, ready for a battle that they have been waiting for a very, very long time. Thus began the battle for Lûrbag. The Drønlandi forces marched for Lûrbag, and their objective was to either eliminate all Gendroni forces or to take the city. The Gendroni marched in return, and their objective was to bar the road completely and kill at least one of the enemy forces. The blow of the horn, the forces of the Northern Alliance marched forward to meet the Gendroni in battle. Now, the Gendroni set up their barricades, trying to defend the best they could against the Northern Alliance, both the Drønlandi and the Dess, which were a very formidable foe. On the side of Drønland, we had Asbard. Asbard is one of the Alvolf riders. If you don't know what an Alvolf is, it's just a giant wolf, and he was armed with a bow. On the Dess side, we had Linnox, and there's not much to say about the Dess. They're pretty much nearly undefeatable, so it was going to be a very hard fight. On the side of Gendron, we had an NPC and Rathar. The NPC was controlled by Nexus, so thank you to her. But General Rathar rode in on his giant ox bull. Not exactly sure what it is. I should probably reread his intro. But yes, he rode in on his giant ox bull thing. And before I continue, I realized that I was looking over here and looking at the camera out of the corner of my eye, and it probably looks like I was looking out over there for a long time. So I actually have no idea if it looks bad. I should probably look directly at the camera from now on. Anyways, as the northern forces marched forward, both Azzy and Lennox, the orcs ran back and forth, setting up their defenses. And the orcs had made a seemingly harmless mistake in communication early on. Partially my fault. Rathar had yelled out to Nexus to try and attack the Asbard, and instead she decided to put up a wall. I mean, it was a decent idea, but this miscommunication didn't seem that massive in the grand scheme of things. So Nexus put up a wall while Rathar had to attack to get that one kill before they could win. You could not shoot from behind the defenses, so Rathar was rather defenseless as he went out to meet General Asbard. Now, the positioning of the map here, I'll put up a picture, but the positioning of the map wasn't best for this strategy. General Rathar ran out instead onto Lennox, and while Asbard was headed for Nexus, who had now barricaded herself in. Looking back, I think that Rathar probably could have barricaded himself in, and Nexus, the NPC, could have attacked General Asbard, leading to a better situation, because a orc trying to defeat a Dess isn't the best situation. And so General Rathar trying to attack Lennox was killed, and the NPC, Nexus, scrambled to put up the last remaining defenses. But quickly their plan fell apart as the Drœnland and Dess marched in and obliterated the defenses. As he was unable to get in and take the kill, but he was able to take down one of the fences. Lennox obviously killed General Rathar, and as he ran in to attack the NPC. The NPC tried to barricade herself into a corner, but she eventually died. And with that, the Northern Alliance had a fairly easy takeover of the city of Lûrbag. Lûrbag is now under control of the Northern Alliance, with their armies marching for Drønland. Drønland is their next stop, which means Gendron is in trouble. Drønland is just an 8 days travel away from Lûrbag. The siege will not be easy. The orcs will definitely not give up without a fight, and many orcs from all around Gendron will be fighting for Drønland, and I'm sure the Chaharians will also not be happy about their biggest Gendroni city being taken into northern control. But away in the north, King Edstrig plans an expedition to the west. This expedition has been in the plans for a very, very long time. The ice is melting and the seas are calling. Ships are going to be leaving from V3 very, very soon. In fact, they're leaving right now. They are now sailing towards an unknown fate, traveling from V3 through the lake into the bay and beyond known waters, beyond the known world into unknown waters. But they go off not really knowing where they're going. Are they going to sail around the world and end up back on the other side of Drønland? Or will they sail off the edge of the world? Possibly they will just sail forever, and the oceans of the world just never end. Maybe they will sail to land untouched. But as they sail, many things assail them. Storms come, blowing them off course. Not that they had much of a course to begin with. racking their boats, tearing sails, and many patches have had to be made. Sea serpents attacked the boats through their journeys, but they overcame them with their mental might. I've blanked on the word. It starts with a V. They sailed through the waters, unsure of what would come, kind of wanting to turn back secretly in their minds, until they saw a sliver of land on the horizon. Many of them brought out spyglasses, watching the land come ever closer, and the spirits of the ships were lifted. But one scout saw something off to their right, something flying above, a bird, something they hadn't seen in months of ocean travel, and it was interesting. But as they came closer to the bird grew bigger than was expected. And then it started coming for them. Bigger and bigger it grew until it was apparent it was not a bird. It was a dragon with death on its wings. Now, was this a balanced game? I actually think it was a fairly balanced game. Both Rathar and General Asbard, who were on either side facing off against each other, had a mount. Asbard was the only person with a bow, and Linnox was a Dess. So there's not much you can do against a Dess, but I think it was actually pretty balanced. The orcs could have won with a better strategy. If Nexus had attacked Asbard and Rathar had instead set up his defenses, I think they could have done very well. The Dess may have been able to break through the defenses, but I think they still could have done pretty well if Nexus had instead tried to attack Asbard. What would have happened if that was the case? I don't know. We can only guess, but I think that was probably one of the most balanced games yet, and I am very excited to see what exactly happens in the future. A new season has begun and new factions are here. If you want to join one of those factions and control a character in one of my live streams and get in on this new balanced system, check out the links in the description to my Discord and the Wanderer's Handbook to learn how to play. Will it be balanced in the future? I just added dragons, so probably not.